Hey guys, on a quick sign up before we get into the video, I want to apologize for not uploading much for the last 3 weeks. It's been really just challenging to come up with ideas for content, and I have a lot of video ideas, but I don't have the motivation to do them, and that's the problem right now. I'm hoping this week, I'm recording this on Friday, you guys should be seeing this on Sunday, I'm hoping, maybe earlier, we'll see, but I'm planning out on Sunday's video going out, and I do have videos planned for the remainder of this week when you guys are seeing this, so I hope I can get back into it. If you guys have any ideas, video ideas you want me to discuss, whether it's theories or villains, how good they were in the CW show, like I did for Godspeed and Cicada. I think I did for Devote, didn't I? But it would be, it'd help a lot if you guys give me some ideas, because I'm kind of running out. And I'm hoping to get started on some new series on this channel, but again, the motivation is not there right now. I'm hoping it will be. I'm also trying to restart the gaming channel too, by uploading some new videos that I've been working on for a while. So the content might dip, might go up, and it might dip again. I don't know. But I'm hoping to get back into it, because I do love this job, I guess, but I don't get paid for it. So I guess it's not really a job, but you know what I mean? Like, this is something that I love doing. It's just, again, the motivation to do it, it's not all there entirely. So that's actually important to get this done. But I do want to thank you all for support. For those who have been sticking around, the minimal uploads, I know it's, you subscribe for content, and then you get like nothing for 3 weeks, besides like 2 or 3 shorts. But I do appreciate you guys sticking around and supporting the shorts that I have uploaded. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and yeah. So for the last several years, I've been seeing the same kind of remark about the CW's Flash going around pretty much nonstop, and it's become more popular of an opinion since season 9 happened, because season 9 was not that great of a final season, and a lot of people were disappointed. I was kind of disappointed too. I think everyone was disappointed with the final season, but the last 3 seasons of the show, for a lot of people, were not that great. Now, I made very clear, seasons 6 and 8, I think, are some of the best seasons of the show, period. Season 4, I think, was great. Season 5, 7, and 9 were not that great, or even okay for that matter. But 4, 6, and 8, I think were very good seasons, or amazing seasons for season 8, or great season for season 6. But the opinion is that season 3 should have been the last season, or at least, in the very least, you take Barry off the show and Wally becomes the Flash. Now, I've been heavily against that opinion, purely because of my love for Barry Allen over Wally. It's not, and my love for Grant too, because, Grant played a character for 9 years, but even at the time, Barry going to Speed Force, that never would have been a good ending. There would have been so many stories that we didn't get, stories that I wanted. Like, yeah, we got Red Death. No, it wasn't exactly what I pictured it would be, but we still got Red Death. We still got Godspeed again. It didn't go the way I wanted it to, but we still got it. We got a big fight between Barry and Thawne, one last fight, again, which was in the series finale, but whatever. We still got it. We still got that night when our Barry went back to that night and saved his younger self. That felt like a good 9-year loop. It felt really good. We finally got to see Fast introduced, which I wanted for several years in the show. We got to see Barry outrun a nuke. We got to see, Barry actually using his powers to the fullest in season 8. We got to see Barry's children from the future. I know people were pissed off that Bart was somehow Barry's son now, but it's the littlest things that piss people off. I think the matter of the fact is, season 3 was not a good season, at least for me. It was an okay season. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't good either. And Flashpoint should have been longer. Now, I know Flashpoint, had an overlasting effect of season 3, but the matter of the fact is, Flashpoint was only 1 episode, and then it got dragged out of the stories. Us dealing with metahumans being created through Flashpoint, which, yes, makes sense, but then to bring in Huss, which makes no sense whatsoever, and then for this to be dragged out, honestly, Barry being an idiot most of the time, and then Wally getting speed through that, which, yes, made sense, but again, we were so focused on Wally saving Iris, which made no sense. And, I understand Iris dying, but then again, they couldn't even explain how Savitar was there. So the matter of the fact is that season 3 was one hell of a mess for the writing, for the story itself, for Flashpoint itself. It was all over. the place. Now, you can say something about season 7, season 9, season 5, for some of you, season 8, but, which I disagree with, but whatever. We have our opinions, and I respect those opinions. But I think those people who say season 3 should have been the last season, then quit watching on season 3. There's no reason to come out and blast the show because, the last 3 seasons haven't been that great for a lot of people. Doesn't mean you have any right in attacking, the actors or hell, even Eric or the writers. Especially when season 3 was written by Todd Helbing. I mean, you can't, there has to be a standard where, we blame Eric Wallace for everything that went bad with the show. When the matter of the fact is, Todd Helbing did season 1 through 5. And he was alone on season 4 and 5. And season 5 was probably the worst season of the series. Season 7 was bad purely because they got screwed over with COVID precautions. Season 9, I don't know why it was bad. I don't have a reason for that. But season 4, it was a great season, but it fell apart when Barry Speed became just so inconsistent. And DeVoe being dragged out didn't help anything at all. So those criticisms I understand. But again, that writing was done by Todd Helbing. He came up with DeVoe to be a whole season-long villain. If that was done by Eric Wallace, Eric would have simply just done 2 or 3 villains, and Barry Speed probably would have been max what it could have been, like in season 8 it was. So, again, you want to attack Eric Wallace for the crappy seasons past season 3, attack Todd Helbing too, because it's not just Eric. Those people who say they're biased, first off. Second, the matter of the fact is that if the show ended season 3, it wouldn't have been a good ending. And the people who say that really only say that because, and I also want to be very blunt here, the popularity for season 3, people saying, oh, the first 3 seasons were so amazing. They only say that because season 4 through 9 kind of dipped. But when season 3 was airing, it was the exact opposite. So, it's that, it gets older, but it gets better, is what it looks like in the public eye. And that's how things go for most things. I mean, a decade from now, people will probably say season 8 really wasn't that bad. I guarantee people will probably say that because they'll be old by then. And, like I said, look at season 3 right now. The popularity season 3 is getting right now from the community. Whether or not it's because of season, 4 through 9 dipping in quality for the most part. Season 3, again, to me, not that great. And back then, it wasn't that great to a lot of people. It wasn't that great of a season. So, the fact that it's getting a lot of love now, I think it's fair to say several years from now, people look back on season 8 and season 6, season 4, I don't know about 5, 7, and 9, but 4, 6, and 8, I think people will start to develop more love for as it gets older. And realize, okay, season 8 really wasn't that bad. I was just criticizing it because season 7. Season 4 wasn't that bad because season 3, it's criticizing it. And season 6 wasn't that bad, at least in the first half, because I was criticizing it because season 5. And the back half got screwed over because of COVID precautions. But we still wrapped it up. And now wrapping up, it's not that great, but still it's not season 6 or season 7. But the point is, I think the matter of the fact is that people saying season 3 should have been the last season don't understand why it wasn't. And most importantly, don't understand why that ending wasn't the end for Barry. Because we would have lost so much. The main point of the show was about Barry Allen. Yes, it was called The Flash, but The Flash is Barry Allen. I mean, in the show, they directly discussed that. Even when Wally wore the Flash suit, he was still called Kid Flash. He never once was called The Flash. And so, if the writers wanted to go down a different route, they could have called him The Flash in that moment, but they didn't. They chickened out and called him Kid Flash. And I think that should have been the first tease to everybody. That should have opened everyone's eyes and been like, okay, Barry's not going anywhere until this show's done. So if season 3 was the last season, we would have gotten screwed over on a majority of things that had happened in not just The Flash, but the Arrowverse and as a whole. I mean, when you really look at it, it would have changed fundamentally everything that happened with the Arrowverse, relating to Oliver, Crisis, the ending of the Arrowverse, which, yes, I know people didn't really like, but when you look at 909, 910, some person 913, it was really, really, really good. I mean, it did wrap up the Arrowverse in a lot of ways. I know it didn't wrap up everything, but it's the best we could get. I think it's important to look at that everything we got because it was the final season. And because this has been a 10-year lead up for the Arrowverse. And so, or 11-year lead up, I guess, for the Arrowverse, but a 9-year run up of The Flash. If we didn't get that, the Arrowverse would be completely different right now. It would be. the Flash had ended, the Arrowverse wouldn't have been that popular. That's why, because the Flash is the most popular show in the Arrowverse. But also not to mention that a majority of the fan base, including myself, got introduced to the Arrowverse through the Flash, particularly in the back of season 3 and season 4. And I didn't even start watching Arrow until season 7 because of the Elseworlds crossover when I, started getting addicted to Arrow a little bit. But, and the same thing goes for Supergirl too. But, if the Flash had ended, the Arrowverse would have been completely and utterly different. And I think it's good that the Flash continued. I know it had its lows and highs past I think season 2, but for some of you, season 3. But this show will always hold a special place in my heart, as I know a lot of you as well. I would have been disappointed if it ended in season 3, definitively. Unless they did, Barry going back to that night, saving his younger self, fine. Or, attempting to save his younger self, that moment where he puts his hand up like our Barry did in 910, and like future Barry did in 123, and whatever other episodes that happened. But, they didn't do that. It was all about Flashpoint and Savitar, again, being dragged out throughout the entire season. So, I don't think necessarily it was a really good season to end on. In my opinion, season 9 would have been a better final season than season 3 with the ending that we got. With knowing that Barry's still alive and he's still being the Flash because of what Oliver did. Some people seem to forget that. But, that's them. But I do definitively think that the Flash not ending season 3 was a good thing. And I'm very glad that it didn't. I know a lot of people have differences of opinion. That's fine. But I kind of just want to address this because I see it a lot now anymore. That people are saying, oh, season 3 should have been the last. And, all that. It's important to realize that, season 3 was not that good of a season for a lot of people. And quite frankly, it wouldn't have been a good series finale ending. And a lot of people were pissed off about the series finale season 9. But season 3 series finale, if that had happened, wouldn't have been that great either to look at as a whole. It wouldn't have. And it wouldn't have gotten what I think a lot of Flash fans wanted in the series finale to happen. And then that series finale, if that had happened. So there's a lot of counter arguments you can make. There's a lot of counterpoints you can make. And there's a lot of bias you can make through those people saying season 3 should have been the last. Because you can tell there's bias when you look at the series finale, the hate that's getting now, and the praise season 3 is getting. There's so much praise going around for season 3 now because of season 9 and 7 mainly. And 5 as well, and 4 for some people, and 6 and 8, I guess, for others. But I understand where they're coming from on some level. But at the same time, you can't ignore that season 3, if it had ended there, it wouldn't have been good at all. It would have just shattered most of what most fans wanted for the Flash as a character and Barry Allen as a character. And I think that's important to look at as, the show becomes hopefully a legacy that people will come back to look on, or people get introduced to the Flash. I think is important. To look at that and say, hey, season 3, for some people, was the last good season, or the last best season. I disagree with that heavily. We all know my opinions on that. But I do think it's important to point out that, at the end of the day, again, like I said 4 times now, season 3, if it had ended there, wouldn't have been good. And so I think it's important to point out, important to realize, and that's why my stance is what it is. So thank you all for watching. Have a good day. Have a good night. Stay safe. See you in the next video. Bye, guys.